Cool. So, hello guys. Welcome to another ETHDenver 2022 In-person Hackathon project demo session. This is Chris from DoraHacks. Very glad and exciting to be here and host you guys today. Actually, this year is the first time that DoraHacks support ETHDenver hackathon, in-person hackathon. And the result is pretty nice. In the end, we have more than 170 project submissions, and they all did a great job. And actually, we are more than exciting to see there are 30 teams emerged from all of the teams to be the finalists. And actually, today we have 5 of them with us. They are Colorado Aware, Farm Kudos, Canon, Background Network, and Fracture/Constitute. So without further ado, let's welcome the first project today, which is the Colorado Aware to start. And for all the audience in front of the screen, if you have any questions during the session, please feel free to ask in our YouTube chat room. And thanks for joining us today, guys. Feel free to start, team.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Valerie, and I have my teammate here with me, Wesley Whitney. And give me a second to bring up our presentation. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Or Wes, just let me know if you can. Yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, so we are Colorado Aware. We did the State of Colorado Jam track, which was all focused on how can we use blockchain technology to change Coloradans' behavior and help us transition to 100% renewables by 2040. And so Wes and I actually came together at the conference with another teammate who was not able to join us tonight and created Colorado Aware. So ultimately, I think everyone knows this. We know we have a climate crisis. We also know that we need new energy technology to transition to renewables. We don't have what we need right now, and the industry is largely still immature, even though we've made a lot of really good strides. We also need a software infrastructure layer to support all of the hardware that's going to go into the environment, and a change management approach for large-scale change. I come to you from a change management background. So what do we have? We have Colorado Aware, which we are starting as the software infrastructure to support the transition to renewables by 2040, because we know this isn't going to happen overnight. And to be honest, we know we can't just sort of plop a blockchain on the problem and think that it's going to solve it. So what we've created here is we want to build Web3 components over time into a really simple, easy to use mobile application that helps bring users into an environment that we can then take in data from them, use data to the grid, and sort of increasingly roll out new offerings that'll support, again, the transition to renewables. And this is sort of designed in general to adapt to this increasingly decentralized energy environment, which is sort of coming in front of us with the rollout of renewables. So how does this work? So what we are having is we want to bring users, average consumers who are already using energy from the grid. We want to bring them into an application. Currently, the grid goes into times where it might get overloaded, whether it's because of weather or it's just because of general supply and demand. We're not meeting, supply is not meeting demand. Those are really significant issues on the grid. You have to either shut down or bring up the capacity of the grid to meet those needs. And it takes up way more energy than we need it to. And it's just really tough on our infrastructure. So we don't want to do that. We want to keep the grid stable. So in times of overload on the grid, our application, the Colorado Aware app, is going to pull utility data through APIs. Most utilities offer an API with their data, and alert residents in the app of supply concerns and ask them to conserve. So we're going to say, hey, we want to ask you, the grid is overloaded. Can you help us make sure that we can meet these supply and demand needs? And can you help us do that? Can you shut something off in your house? The app would come up. It would say, hey, were you able to do this? Yes or no? And then allow users to say what else they did. Hey, I shut off my AC, or I turned off some lights, or I stopped running my dishwasher, something like that. And then users are able, like I said, users are able to respond. Utility providers are able to pull that data back in our API service and make better predictions on the grid. So where are the Web3 components in this? Because we're in a Web3 world. And we do believe ultimately that a blockchain is actually going to be really important for the energy environment. It provides more flexibility and resilience and meets the hardware with the software in a decentralized environment, because we're just going to have all these devices on. You're going to have solar, wind, EVs, other IoT and smart devices. Anything with a brain that's going to move energy data around is going to be an endpoint on the grid that is going to need some kind of software layer. And we really think it's going to be a blockchain. And so how we're building, how we're sort of like building people over time into this is we're just going to start with DIDs. We're going to start with a really simple digital identity. And I have a video for you here that will show you kind of how we did this. And this is sort of how we've architected it now. But what we actually know too is that you don't need a blockchain to anchor a DID. And so what we're showing you here is a MetaMask integration, which just says that ultimately says that you as a user are responsible for your private keys. The average user doesn't know what a private key is, doesn't know what a seed phrase is. It isn't responsible for their security, and probably largely doesn't want to be. And so what we've shown here is the architecture for MetaMask, but ultimately we also have an architecture design of this that isn't anchored to you holding your own private keys, and we would just custody that until the time comes where that we sort of move into progressive security and you're able to hold your own keys. We also had a My Colorado ID integration that we are not sharing today, but you could sign in with your My Colorado ID. So again, this is sort of just what that application would look like. We imagine that the UX UI is just really simple. You get your notifications, you're able to send back some data, and then you're able to ultimately view the previous notifications that came in. So this is where I think this actually gets interesting. I see this project as deliberately strategic in development, and that's backed by a change management theory, because ultimately the transition to renewables and even a lot of the transition with these layer ones, like over into layer one environments, needs a change management framework. And so what I've laid out here is exactly a change management framework. We're working with something called ADCAR. It's sort of where you start building awareness, you move into creating desire, you give people knowledge, you build up their skills, and then you kind of reinforce that whole cycle. And so what we imagine is this notification system with the Web3 component of DIDs is kind of this first piece, is where we start with awareness. And we build awareness for the change, right? We're giving you data, you're giving us back data, and we can kind of help create that cycle of communication between utilities and consumers. As we kind of move through the life cycle, that's when we can start to really migrate over to a blockchain. We like the energy web chain. The energy web chain is optimized for the regulatory concerns of the energy environment. It uses a proof of authority protocol, which has really strict requirements to run nodes. Yeah, just you have to be super reputationed, and that's what makes sense for the energy environment. So once we kind of move over into a chain, then you can start implementing distributed energy resources, which are not just you as a node, right? In the beginning, it's sort of, you're just, you have an identity on this, but we can give identities to any smart device. Again, wind, solar, EVs, batteries, whatever you have. And we can start integrating these distributed resources. We can start to optimize distributed energy resources to talk to each other and maybe enable peer-to-peer energy transactions. And then we can integrate new rewards or incentive programs, which is really where I just see that you can add in tokenization later on, but is not, I think, a key development from the beginning. So again, why do we need this? I think I've tried to explain that the energy environment really is moving into a, as it is. And so as we move into that transition, as we move into this, kind of increasingly decentralized grid, we need to address the software layer that's going to kind of support all of that. We sort of can't have these. It doesn't make sense in general to have all of these different sort of pieces of software running on distributed energy resources, in an environment where these things need to talk to each other as it is. And so we've also embedded this strategic change management plan that we think is just going to be really important, to kind of match this as a transition. It's a unique, it's unique as a transition. And yeah. So yeah, this was for Colorado Jam. Yeah, so we're off asking for the Colorado Jam support. And ultimately, we think we can really create a public good for a clean energy future with this. And all building on, again, the energy web chain that's fully open source. And so we also think that, to achieve this, we have some sort of big picture goals, but I think the main thing here is that you can build an ecosystem around this. And that's what we're really looking to do in this application too, and bring average people into this and organizations that are, maybe not Web3 native at all, and really also help them transition to 100% renewables. Yeah. And that is all from us.
Got it. Yeah, thank you very much, Valve, and also the Wesley for the presentation. Definitely a very interesting project that combined the impact part to the blockchain. And if it works, I believe it will have a very broad use case in the future, not only in Colorado, but also everywhere, actually. Yeah, and appreciate your time and the presentation again. And hope you guys doing great in the future. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much. Yep. And we're gonna move to the next project, which is the background network. Casey and Amy, feel free to start when you're ready.
Thank you. It's Amy, Kathy, and Brian here from Background Network. Thank you so much for having us. Just share my screen, get our presentation together. So our team built Background Network, which is a help center protocol and customer support Discord bot for Web3 communities. So if you've been a part of a Web3 community on Discord, you probably know that customer support is a nightmare. The same questions get asked over and over again. Customers who don't get immediate answers are very susceptible to falling for scams and DMs, and core teams and mods are often overwhelmed with questions 24 hours a day. So if you're part of ETHDenver, you'll probably know that there were a lot of questions happening in the ETHDenver support channel as well about how to stake and how to submit hackathon projects and everything like that. And these poor mods end up being like this guy in this picture here, just up all night answering the same questions over and over again. And we believe that if Web3 is to scale to the next billion people, that it cannot continue like this. There has to be a better way. Now, what is that? So we, during the ETHDenver hackathon, we built Background Network. And what we built was a Discord bot that answers repetitive questions. So we'll explain exactly how we do that in a bit. An auto-generated FAQ and a auto-updating FAQ, and also a system for rewarding community members for answering questions with tokens. So what is this Discord bot that we built? We actually leveraged GPT-3, which is OpenAI's NLP model, to learn from a server's Discord history and to pick out admin responses to frequently asked questions, so that when those questions come up again, the bot can not only identify that it is a repetitive question, even if it's worded differently, and it can respond with the admin trained response. It can also it automatically responds just in the context of the Discord server. And the bot can also be trained automatically in Discord itself. So if there's a new question that you want to add into Discord, you can do that automatically. And actually, my teammate Brian is going to give a quick demo of the bot. So I'm going to pass over sharing to him. Brian, do you want to take over?
Hey, y'all, can you hear me? I think you can hear me and you can see me now. Perfect. So good transition there. Just so you all know, I won't take 10 of our minutes doing this, but our whole team's together for South by Southwest. We're usually remote, so we're just sitting in different rooms, but I can hear everybody else talking from the other room. Anyways, like Amy said, I'm going to be giving a demo of what the bot can do. And so right now you should be seeing my Discord. Do you all see it? Perfect. So what I'm going to do is start asking our GPT-3 powered chatbot some questions. So we'll start with the low-hanging fruit stuff here, if you will. So let me discuss the quick bits. First, I'm going to cover how simple it is to engage with the bot. You're about to see me type in this Discord channel and it to speak back to us. Then the second thing I'll discuss is how easy it is to add a question and answer pair. So when you ask the bot a question it doesn't know, I'll easily be able to add it. And the last thing I'm going to do is replace an answer. So that's our agenda for our little Discord demo here. So let me go ahead and get this started. So first question we're going to ask, what's DoraHacks? Feels pretty pertinent. Let's see the answer. Okay, our bot knows. So what we grabbed here is a little blurb from y'all's LinkedIn and then the website. And so the idea here is so many questions that get asked to moderators inside of Discord are just repetitive questions, like Amy was saying. And we can really reduce the amount of those that the core teams and moderators need to just answer day to day, because the bot can fill in so much work here. So let's go ahead and ask a different version of the same question, because this kind of gets to the power of GPT-3. So tell me about, if I can type, tell me about DoraHacks. Very similar question. Okay, GPT-3 recognizes it's the same question, fields it the same way. Now, let's move on to a slightly different question. So next one I'll ask is, where can I find out about bounties? So here we have another link embedded, which would take you directly to the page. I think right now there are 98 bounties out in the world. And so you could ask the question to the bot and have this general information answered directly to people that are curious. So now let's get into kind of the more nifty stuff and what I'm going to call the elegance of the product itself, because so much of the education happens directly inside of Discord. So let's kind of shift gears, move away from DoraHacks. We'll ask a question about background network. What's background network? Okay. Oh, okay. We're this company, probably should know an answer to this. So let's teach it this response. So what you're going to do if you're using our product and you're one of the people that has administrative access, we only allow people to edit the bot's data set who have admin access to it. So if you're a person who has admin access, you can come here, you can hit reply. Rather than you all watching me struggle through typing this answer out on there, what I'm going to do is copy and paste it in real quick. So I'm replying to my note. Our product is a moderation Discord bot that uses AI to answer questions in Discord. Pretty straightforward. To add it to the data set, all you need to do is come over here, hit this pencil paper emoji, and now the bot knows it. So next time I ask, what's background network? you can see, there we go. It'll spit out an answer, very clean and simple. Now let's teach it something. Well, let's just remove this question actually. So now that you've seen how easy it is to teach it, if you wanted to remove this question and answer pair from the database, all you would need to do is hit this add reaction emoji on the bot's response. You would hit the X button here. And now it's been wiped. So if I clear out this question and I ask again, what's background network? It's been scraped. So now, if you wanted to come in and give a new answer because something needed to be updated or somebody had answered it incorrectly before and you want to replace it, it's that easy to do inside of the chat for all the moderators. And with that, Amy, if you want to take it back away, by all means.
Thank you so much, Brian. That was an awesome demo. Let me just get back to my slides. So in addition to having, the Discord bot, we see how in Discord contextually, you can actually add answers, remove answers, update answers that are no longer relevant. All of this data also turns into an auto-generated FAQ. So based on these frequently asked questions in your Discord and moderators adding them to the database, we build a really nice UI for your community and your admins to easily see all the top questions that are asked within your community. You can either edit the questions or edit the questionnaire to pairs directly in Discord, or you can go into the UI and change answers in bulk. And all of the data flows seamlessly from the UI into the bot so that the bot gets updated immediately. And every time there's new answers in the bot, the UI gets updated immediately as well. And we're also building a system that allows you to incentivize community members to actually help each other and answer questions. So if the community is, if there's certain community members that are, really stepping up and answering questions well, they get rewarded in tokens. And then we're also building a system that disincentivizes bad behavior. So if someone goes in and tries to spam or answer questions malignantly or incorrectly, they get punished and removed. And those questions can, those Q&A pairs can also get removed as well. So where this is ultimately going is token curated FAQs that stay up to date because the community is constantly curating them and getting rewarded for doing so. And they are also easily accessible by any member of your community, either through Discord or through the UI. So in summary, we at Background Network are building a protocol that 1, saves moderators a lot of time and headache, 2, helps surface important information to your community, and 3, incentivizes and rewards community members to help each other. So you can check us out at background.network or follow us at background_NTWK. And feel free to DM us if you want a demo or to be part of one of our alpha communities and test the product yourself. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amy and Brian. Definitely, I think if you guys have the product during the ETHDenver, it's gonna solve us a lot of headache during the hackathon. Yeah, definitely love it. And actually, we are trying to build a Discord channel by ourselves of DoraHacks, and probably we will reach out to you guys at that time again. Yep.
Yeah, please do, Chris. Thank you so much.
Yep. And appreciate your time and presentation. And we're gonna move to the next project, which is Canon. Noah, feel free to start.
Yep.
We are
Great, thanks.
Yep.
Just a second. Cool. Okay, so yeah, this is Canon. Canon is a hard hat plugin for declaring on-chain dependencies and enabling multi-chain development. So real-world Web3 development isn't just writing a smart contract in isolation. In practice, it involves integrations with existing protocols, deployment across multiple chains, You have oracles, keepers, upgradability. There's a lot of infrastructure to keep track of, and oftentimes that can be more labor intensive for a developer than just writing the actual code. This can be a huge pain in the ass. For testing in particular, you can sometimes rely on chain forks, but it can be complicated sort of reasoning about the full state of the chain. Oftentimes you might just want a clean local node with certain things deployed on it, configured exactly how you'd like it. We faced similar issues to these while building synthetics. The team working on this were all core contributors on synthetics. We have some custom tooling at Synthetics to deal with this, but there's no generalized solution available currently. So we built Cannon. Cannon is heavily inspired by Docker and Terraform. Terraform is known for introducing the paradigm infrastructure as code. So in its simplest format, you can just install Cannon and then just run npx hardhat Cannon and then the name of a package. Here would be Synthetics. And that's all you need to do. It's as if you just ran npx hardhat node, but there's already a deployment of Synthetics on it. For slightly more advanced usage, you can define a JSON file. And in the file, you can list out all of the chains you plan to deploy on and all of the dependencies that you would expect to find on each of those chains. And for more advanced usage, you can write your own Cannon file. This is inspired by a Docker file, and this can consist of different configurations and other on-chain dependencies for your particular project. Once you have a Cannon file, you can deploy it to our decentralized package manager. The registry is hosted on Ethereum. The artifacts are hosted on IPFS, and then we index the registry on the graph. You can go to usecannon.com right now and look through the packages that we have currently available. And each of the packages available can be pulled down automatically through the command line using the package using the command we demonstrated earlier. So there are a number of use cases for this. One is much faster, more reliable integration tests. Instead of needing to spin up run your deploy script every time before each integration test, you essentially get a snapshot of a chain state to run your tests against. It's great for rapid prototyping with different protocol integrations. For instance, if you want to write like an ARB between Uniswap and SushiSwap, something like that, you would be able to set up a local chain with deployments of both of those protocols with liquidity pools configured exactly as you'd expect them, and then you can write your code against that. And it's also great for front-end development. For a front-end developer, you can just give them like essentially one command to run, and then they have a local node to develop their user interface against. So we do have a working product right now, but next up we want to get integrated production deployments set up. So when you do actually go to deploy your protocol, it'll just sort of swap out the address for like real Uniswap or Synthetics, let's say, instead of the one that's deployed using Cannon. We're going to add better support for oracles and keepers so that you can simulate different scenarios with say different price feeds changing. And the package registry is currently hosted on a testnet, but once we sort of tie everything off, we're going to get it up on mainnet and make a larger announcement. You can check it out right now at usecannon.com. We have the test package registry live and some documentation. And I'm going to pass it over to my teammates to do a quick live demo.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Mati from Cannon. I'm going to be showing a simple example for a use case of Cannon. Here I have a simple hardhat project folder, which only includes a task for transferring some coin from my wallet to another address. And usually, if I want to test this script, I will have to like create a local node or run a fork and mint some coins and doing all of those steps manually or create a custom debug script. But instead of that, I'm going to be installing hardhat Cannon on my project. as a dependency, and just I need to include it on my hard hat config. And here I'm going to be able to execute all the canons commands. For my case, what I want to do is to create this canon file first, which is a definition like a Docker image, where I will be creating 2 tokens. And then I'm going to be minting those tokens and give it to the owner account to then be able to test my script. Here you can see the canon file example. I just a name and a version and some description. This is some settings, which includes a default value. This is the default signer for hard hat. You can, on the command line, you can use a custom one. Then what I'm going to do is to create the coins. For doing that, what I'm doing is importing ERC20 canon build, which is published on our registry. I just need to define this and giving it all the arguments it needs. For example, I'm going to create the DAI coin, which is called Merkle DAI. The symbol is DAI. And I'm going to do the same for USDC. Then I'm going to invoke, I have these 2 steps because I want to give some coins to the owner address. So I'm going to invoke on the address of the contract that I just created here to the account that I defined here. I'm going to call the min function on that contract and min 5,000 DAI in this case. And then I'm going to do the same with USDC. And this is all my canon file I need to set up a custom canon blockchain. Then I just need to create the simple chain definition, which is going to load my canon file, which I just created locally. And first, I'm going to build my canon file, the TOML file. It already deployed the 2 coins I defined. And then I just can run npx hardhat canon. And what it's going to do is to read the canon JSON file and open a local network, a local hardhat node, but with all my definitions already set up. And thanks to this, I have this running. Now I can run my transfer command, my transfer task, hardhat task. I had to specify the localhost network because the node is running here. And I want to transfer DAI 100 to this address. As you can see, it's going to execute the command, the task. It's going to do it on the local network. And it's going to first, the sender balance is 5,000 and transfers 100 to the recipient. And also you can see all the transactions that happen on the local network just for doing that. That's all. I'm going to give the mic to DB for another great example.
Thanks, Monty. Could you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, let me.
Oh, I think I got it. Okay, so yeah, one more demo here. What we just showed you was like a really simple example to try and show a little bit about how Canon works when it's really simple, but we wanted to see how it would do with synthetics. So we've built the Canon file for synthetics here, and it does actually a few things. It provides some options, but what's really impressive is how it reduces the amount of time the integration tests take. So if we just run our integration test command right here, this is normally something that has to run before every invocation of the integration tests. It takes quite a long time, like 30 seconds, as long as it takes for me to do this here. And sometimes it has a bug where you have to like reset something. So I'm going to do that right now. And then I'm going to run it again. Anyway, just so most of what this Canon file is doing is specifying the owner address. So this is actually specifying an array of addresses to a set ownership for, and then it's going to import some Chainlink aggregators because synthetics depends on Chainlink normally in order to run. It'll set some fake rates. And then, yeah, and then we have some other functions to set some system variables and et cetera. So a front-end developer might find this helpful, or the integration test as we're now running here. So we just watched, it took quite a long time to initialize the integration test and it was buggy. Now that we've built the image though, if I just rerun the command, we should notice in just a quick second here, the integration tests are already running. So if you're a developer and you're trying to figure out why the integration tests aren't working for your project, this is a great way to reduce the amount of time and effort that is required. So yeah, that's about it for this demo.
Yeah, got it. Thank you very much, Noah, and also Maddie. I believe the whole presentation is super cool, but kind of hardcore for me. I'm not a technical guy, so I cannot give too much advice here. But I believe, especially when especially when you guys have a very strong previous DeFi background, I believe the product must be really useful, especially in the relative area. Yeah, thank you guys very much. Appreciate your time and presentation. Yeah,
Thanks.
and we're gonna move to the last. We're gonna move to the next project, which is the fracture/constitute. Yeah, Mark, Basley, and Nicholas, feel free to start when you're ready.
Cool. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, our project is called Fracture Constitute. It's document recovery via trusted social consensus, and it uses the threshold umbral proxy re-encryption scheme. So humans have positions, like geographic positions or financial positions, political positions, and these can change suddenly, leaving us with no choice but to travel. Current events have shown us this in many different ways. And when this happens, sometimes you can take your documents with you, sometimes you can't, sometimes you won't for one reason or another. And when you do go, sometimes you end up in places where others can't follow. So what we have left after all seems lost are the relationships we have with the people that we trust. So let's leverage this fact to help people recover after they or their loved ones are forced to travel. In a technical level, we have a few objectives. Number one, allow users to store the encrypted data, not yet knowing who the recipient will be. Ensure that no sole intermediary has the ability to decrypt the data, nor will they obtain the unencrypted data. And provide all the above services in a decentralized network that performs untrusted operations. That led us to this combination. We used Algorand during the hackathon and the new Cipher Umbral proxy re-encryption scheme. We kind of put those together and you got what we came up with. Belsey, go ahead and walk us through some of this.
Cool. Thanks, Mark. So we're going to go through a process of encryption first. Imagine that Freddie is about to embark on a journey where he doesn't want to bring his identity document with him. So that's no documents, no private keys, but he does want to decrypt his identity document in the future for some parties that he might trust, maybe it's an entity or his new public key. So the problem here is that there are people in his trust circle that he trusts, and then in the future, there's a viewer's trust circle. In order to basically enable communication through these two zones of trust, we have constructed Fracture DAO, which acts as a trustless intermediary. So in the encryption, he basically does three things. So Freddie, he wants to encrypt his data. So he does this on his own through the layered of the threshold implementations that we did, and puts his encrypted data on IPFS. He then notifies the Fracture DAO of his trustees. and then he distributes some cryptographic materials to his trustees. Then in the next slide with decryption, Freddie is now ready to decrypt his data. So he basically pings his web of trust trustees with the viewer's public key. And then the trustees do two things. They first approve the decryption process on the Fracture DAO. This is an on-chain interaction. This is important because then they send cryptographic materials that they previously received into some trustless nodes that is in the DAO, who then basically reads that it's been approved and then processes it and then sends it to the viewer's web of trust. Now, finally, the viewer can then safely download and decrypt the data within their own trust zone. So we have a demo video to show this.
All right, so this is just a basic little UI that we built here. And you can see, you can sort of split the keys up into a number of parts, and you can say, okay, we're going to split it into 4 parts, but only, 2 of them have to vouch to decrypt the data or something like that. So then you mark the data as ready to decrypt, and that sort of notifies your web of trust. On their side, they can vouch for the decryption. Click the decrypt button, and then finally, at the very end, you can recover. And if you look closely, you see the plain text over there. It's all base 64 encoded there, but in the real world, it would be just the document that you uploaded. So that's our quick little demo.
Cool. So you might have noticed that in the whole process of helping document recovery, there are a lot of people helping Freddie. So, and our vision is that the DAO would be a specific DAO, which is a distributed impact organization, where the tokens that are issued in the DAO represents a social policy bond. It's a 0 coupon bond. And the holder of the tokens could do one thing, which is to claim a predetermined value when a social policy KPI has been reached. So let's say a donor puts in £1 million, issues 10,000 bonds, so £10 each, with the KPI that this DAO has helped 10,000 people successfully retrieve their data. So it's also a way to basically distribute donor distributions as well and make it transparent. Would be happy to discuss this further. You can find us on dio.earth. And yeah, so definitely come chat with us if this is something you're interested in. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bosley. So actually, I think it is still a very relatively niche market, but we could see that more and more projects like you guys are trying to build something that meaningful in this area and try to contribute and like influence more people at your own way. Yeah, so thank you very much for the contribution and appreciate your time and presentation for today. Thank you very much. Yeah, and I think we can move to the last project today, which is the farm kudos. So I guess that'll be it for today. Thanks for all the amazing questions and I mean, thanks for all the amazing presentations and also the time from our 4 teams. They are Colorado Aware, Canon, Background Network, and Fractal / Constitute. I believe the whole session has been super helpful for all the audience to understand what they are trying to build, what they are trying to do right now. And feel free to engage with them through their own social channels. I believe they are more than willing to talk and engage with you guys in the future. Yeah. And if you haven't followed us on YouTube, please make sure you do that so you won't miss out any of the upcoming events like today's. And hope you guys are doing great in the future and kickstart the next best product in the industries. Good luck and happy building in the future. Thanks for joining us today and have a great one. See you guys soon.